If you're watching this from Canada, you're probably sitting in COVID lockdown right now, and you're looking for some hope or good news. Today, our American friends got some very positive news out of the American Centers for Disease Control. This agency essentially issued guidance today for fully vaccinated persons saying, you know what, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask in most situations. And the very democratic state of California also announced that it would be lifting its mask restrictions by the middle of June. So what about here? What about Canada? When are we going to see similar types of guidance? You know, this is something that Justin Trudeau has been very silent on, has refused to answer these questions. And I mean, the rest of the world is moving on. Where's our guidance? Why isn't he providing this leadership? I asked these very important questions today in the House of Commons, and I want you to listen to the despicable answer from Canada's Health Minister.
The federal government approved an unprecedented 4-month delay between doses of vaccine due to supply, meaning few Canadians are fully vaccinated against COVID. The federal government has not issued any clear advice for half-vaccinated Canadians about their level of protection, their risk of transmitting COVID, and what restrictions do or do not apply to them. Given the Prime Minister's announcement of a half-vaccinated summer, what official public health advice does the federal government have for half-vaccinated Canadians regarding what they can or cannot do?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not really sure where to start with that mixed bag of half-truths and falsehoods, but I'll start with this, Mr. Speaker. Here's what we do know. Vaccines save lives and they stop the spread of COVID. They are a critical tool in getting our lives back to normal. I want to thank all of the immunizers across the country who are working so hard to get vaccines in Canadians' arms. And in fact, Mr. Speaker, we're doing a phenomenal job. We see that we are one of the fastest immunizers in the G7. We see Canadians stepping up in unprecedented ways to take vaccination when it's offered to them. And I would encourage Canadians to continue to get vaccinated. It will save their own life. It will help stop the spread in their community, and we will have a much better summer and fall.
Okay, I'm just going to stop you for a second before the next question. Everything I said in my question was factually correct. Her answer was so crazy, even the Speaker of the House of Commons intervened to chastise her for it. Watch what the Speaker had to say, and then I try to ask her again for the answer to a question that she should have some information and guidance for you on by now.
Before continuing, I just want to remind all the members in the chamber and joining us virtually to be judicious on the language that they use. Sometimes some language may be inflammatory and cause problems. It's not necessarily a bold word that we think is going to be it, but sometimes the intention's behind it. So I just ask all members, I know this is week 5 of a long stretch, and just be mindful of our fellow members in the chamber. The Honourable Member for Calgary Nose Hill.
Thank you, Chair, for that advice to the Health Minister. Even though only 3% of Canadians are fully vaccinated, by now, Canadians should have advice from the federal government on what they can look forward to once fully vaccinated. And this also applies to half-vaccinated Canadians, given the proclamation of a half-vaccinated summer. Countries around the world are doing this. This type of hope will incent people to get the vaccines. So, what advice does the federal government have for half-vaccinated Canadians or fully vaccinated Canadians regarding what they can or cannot do?
Mr. Speaker, let me repeat, vaccines save lives and they stop the spread of disease. And I think Canadians know that we need to get to the finish line together. Canadians have made extraordinary sacrifices for each other, and now they're stepping up to the plate, getting vaccinated when it's their turn. That's how we see a light at the end of this tunnel, Mr. Speaker. I am so proud of all the immunizers around the country who are working so hard to get immunization to Canadians no matter where they live. We're going to reach that finish line, Mr. Speaker, and we're going to get there together.
It is long past time for the federal government to be answering these questions. I have been doing everything I can as a member of Parliament and as the Shadow Minister for Health to get the federal government to be issuing this type of advice. We need a plan moving forward. You'll remember I had a motion in the House of Commons for the government to develop this type of plan months ago now. So I'm going to be keeping fighting for these answers, but again, like, every country around the world is looking towards issuing this type of advice so that we can move out of it. Why isn't Canada's government? Honestly, like, that's a valid question now. Why isn't Canada's government issuing guidance for what comes next? Especially when we have tools like therapeutics, vaccines, and rapid tests. It boggles my mind. So today I did issue a statement. It will be listed in the video heading for this video today, calling on the federal government again to issue this guidance, because we all need a dose of hope, right? Share this video. It's really important that the word gets out and that people see, like, frankly, the incompetency and the disdain that, you know, the Justin Trudeau Liberals have for answering basic questions that any political party could have asked today. You deserve better. I'm going to keep pushing for answers. Share this video. Working hard for you in Calgary. Have a great day.